Hi, so we are Group 1 and we are here to discuss about the data we have gathered on intercultural communication here in Cavite. Our members are composed of 4 members, which is Mark Montecillo, Iya Angel, Kurt Angcanan, and Adriel Grafilo. So our presentation aims to understand the intercultural competency of people from Cavite or the Caviteños. Now we start with the first set of slides, our participants. So the hometowns of the participants of the study are from Silang, Dasmariñas, Amadeo, Alfonso, Tanza, and Tagaytay. Now for our interview script, our questionnaire was based on this model by Xiaodong Dai and Guoming Cheng of Cambridge. So this is from their research about intercultural communication competence. So to the right, you will see the model. That's our basis, our structure of our questionnaire. Now, for the interview script, here are the sets of questions we have asked. So, first question, where, when, and how did you gain experience on intercultural communication? Second, are you comfortable talking directly to a person, or do you prefer writing, texting, or emailing? Have you experienced any problem communicating with other nationalities or cultures? Can you tell us more about it? What do people criticize about you? Are their concerns valid? Do you prefer texting or calling on the phone? What do you think are your unique cultural practices or beliefs? What would you say is the most commonly held misconception about people of your culture? How are your communication practices and preferences similar or different from other nationalities? Were you able to pick up any cultural nuances from other cultures you've interacted with? And the tenth question, what pointers can you give to help us improve intercultural competence or at least improve intercultural awareness?
So I will be discussing questions 1 through 5 of our results. Question 1. Where, when, and how did you gain experience on intercultural communication? So majority of our participants gained experience from school, work, or relatives. Most of the people who went to school interacted with foreign classmates or classmates from all over the country, which meant they spoke a different dialect. Another source is from business or traveling. Traveling can mean two things. Traveling for business, which meant speaking with foreign clients, or traveling for school, which meant going on OJT. Few of our participants also said that they gained experience from relatives. So those relatives could either be here in the country, but from different parts, or another country entirely. Question 2. Are you comfortable talking directly to a person, or do you prefer writing, texting, or emailing? Now, according to our data, most of our participants said that they preferred talking directly to a person. Now, there are some factors as to why they said this. Some people said that talking directly to a person helped them perceive their emotions and it helped gauge the conversation. A part of them were also concerned about being properly understood, and talking directly to a person helps solve this. Some of them also said that talking directly to a person gave a sense of urgency. The topic of closeness also came up. The participants said that if they were close to the person, then they would prefer talking directly to them. But if not, they would prefer writing, texting, or emailing them. Lastly, a few people said that they preferred writing or texting because for them it was easier to interpret the message that way. Question 3. Have you experienced any problem communicating with other nationalities or cultures? Can you tell us more about it? Most of the participants experienced difficulty due to the language barrier. Most of their answers had to do with communicating with people from other cultures or people having other nationalities, which meant they spoke a different language, or a different dialect, which made it hard for them to understand. One other point was if they spoke the same language, they had a difference in tone or speed or style, or them having puntos, different puntos, which made it hard for them to understand each other. Some of our participants also experienced difficulty speaking in English, which became a hindrance in communication. Question 4. What do people criticize about you? Are their concerns valid? Since our participants are coming from Cavite, the most frequent criticism among Caviteños is the way that they express themselves. Due to the inflection and their tone, most people think that they express themselves in an angry manner even when they are not. They tend to misinterpret the message being delivered just because of the manner of which they speak. So, different parts of Cavite also have different puntos or stresses in their sentences, which sometimes make it difficult for other people to understand them sometimes. Question 5. Do you prefer texting or calling on the phone? The most frequent answer that we got was that they preferred calling on the phone. A lot of them mentioned that calling on the phone gave a more clear conversation. Calling was also preferred because you get a quicker response and you get a quicker discussion, which helps save time. Again, we go back to the topic of closeness because a lot of them mentioned here that if they were close to the person that they were talking to, then they would prefer calling, but if not, texting. One person also said that it depended on how you wanted to deliver your message. Calling can deliver the message faster, but texting can give more details about your message.
Question number 6. What do you think are your unique cultural practices or beliefs? So according to the data, Caviteños are known for the way that they speak. They frequently mention that they have a punto in the way that they talk. Caviteños are also known for their respect. So in the aspect of the hospitality and respect, this is more likely an influence of the traditional Filipino values, which is hospitality and respect for the elders. So in the way that Caviteños speak, it is frequently mentioned that they have a punto or a stress in the way that they talk. So this is more likely due to the fact that Caviteños speak in a more traditional Tagalog, which requires or which is filled with these stresses in order to be understood. So, question number 7. What would you say is the most commonly held misconception about the people of your culture? So, the most commonly held misconception about Caviteños is when they speak, people think they are angry when in fact they are only speaking in a raised tone. So, part of the reason why they are portrayed or seen as angry in the way they talk is partly because of the way they're portrayed in the media. So, Caviteños in movies, TVs are portrayed as someone who is bold, courageous, and brave. So, this is most likely the reason why people think that Caviteños are angry when they speak. Question number 8. How are your communication practices or preferences similar or different from other nationalities? So most of the participants said that we differ and relate to other cultures in the way that we speak. One participant even said that the inflection of Caviteños is similar to those of Bicolanos. Part of the reason why she said this is because the dialect of Bicolanos, which is Bicol, is mixed with Tagalog in their vocabulary, which in turn influences their inflection. Question number 9. Were you able to pick up any cultural nuances from other cultures you've interacted with? Most of our participants were able to get cultural nuances from other cultures. Some picked up the hand gestures and accents of other cultures. Some even learned other language or dialects. One participant said they were able to learn Bicolano from interacting with farmers and their colleagues. So the reason why we mimic could be traced back to a phenomenon called chameleon effect. Its effect could be traced back to several factors, but the most relevant factor is culture. According to Mission.org, the national minority in a country is more likely to mimic or pick up cultural nuances than the majority. So this is because mimicking is considered or perceived as likable in a communication setting. Since most of the participants are OFWs or are working in a multicultural setting, they are more likely to pick up cultural nuances in order to keep up since they are most likely the minority. Question number 10. What pointers can you give to help us improve our intercultural competence or at least improve our intercultural awareness? So the Caviteños recommend adapting and learning the language of those who belong to other cultures. This increases our ability to speak better, especially in intercultural scenarios and settings. So this tip is further backed up by a research in Sayari Fidiatula University in Jakarta, Indonesia, where they tested using communicative skills to improve the speaking skills of their students. So they found that communicative games that encourage interaction help in improving the speaking skills of their students. So by interacting more, we are able to speak better to those who belong in other cultures, which facilitates more understanding and better communication.
In conclusion, Caviteños are similar to one another by their means of communicating. So, Caviteños have this unique way of speaking with how they talk, with the tone of their voice, with the stress on each syllable, and some words that is only known in Cavite. So these characteristics could serve as a communication barrier to people of other cultures and the other way around. So each culture has their own unique way of speaking. So if a person from other culture converse with the people of this culture, it is hard for them to understand um, the message that this culture is trying to relay on them, because for example some words in Cavite is not relevant to people of other culture, like for example banas. I don't know if um, banas is known to other culture, but here in Cavite banas means when you're so irritated with the heat or when it's very hot. So, for example, a foreigner heard that word, they wouldn't get the meaning of it unless the people of Cavite explain it to them. So it may serve as a communication barrier to them. And another great example is Caviteños are known for having this loud tone of voice, or um, the stress on the word. So sometimes, and it is a finding in this research that it is a misconception to people of Cavite. They talk regularly like it's normal to them, but people from other culture receive it as, or interpret that like they are angry or they are mad. So it is normal for Caviteños, but for other cultures without knowing the context, they thought that Caviteños are always angry. Additionally, each individual has their strengths and weaknesses when it comes to communicating. With this, the participants shared their answers with us, that some are comfortable talking face to face, or some are not comfortable, and the answer varies from person to person. So we're concluding that um, communication in multicultural setting varies on experience of each person.